Maybe someone's never paid $250 for dinner, or that sounds insane to them, and then they don't want to do this amazing thing. So I think that's the one big pro of the all-inclusives.
Hey everybody, we just wanted to recap a trip we just went on. So Kenny and Connor in here. Hi. We just went to Cabo in Mexico. It was beautiful and amazing. And I had been to other parts of Mexico before, but never Cabo. So it was a very, very cool experience. And you've never been before, right, Kenny, before we went?
This was my first time, and it was my first time as an adult staying at an all-inclusive resort, which was kind of interesting. And so I wanted to talk today a little bit about the pros and cons of all-inclusive. So what were some of the things that you liked about an all-inclusive resort, Connor?
I have stayed at one before, but like you said, I think that is a family vacation staple. This was the first time I was like, okay, I'm 26. I just don't have to carry my purse anywhere that I go ever. And I got free ice cream like 72 times. I'd say it's the move if you're going on an incentive trip, because people don't have to try and figure out who's going to throw their credit card down at the table. And I got you tonight and you got me tomorrow. I feel like it's a really good way to reduce the friction that can happen as far as who's paying for what. And it kind of, if it's not all inclusive, it kind of does affect like where people decide to eat dinner and what they decide to order and what kind of wine they get at the dinner table. All of that is something that you just can completely not worry about. And it's really more focused on like conversation and connection, is what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. I was wondering why we book so much Cancun and Cabo and Mexico in general for work. Because I was looking back through it, and we haven't done as many corporate incentive trips as we have in the past year. And it looks like Mexico was so popular and Punta Cana was so popular. And then I was looking through of where everyone was staying, and it was so many all-inclusives. And me and Connor had a conversation in Cabo about like, what's the draw here? But a lot of it is, one, it fixes your budget too, right? So you know that you're going to be all in for $2,000 a person. Your budget isn't going to balloon, and you're not going to get hit with that crazy bill at the end of it, which is nice from a corporate perspective. But yeah, the taking the stress out of how much does this cost, because money is stressful for people on vacation, especially when you travel in groups and you're like, oh, I really want to do this, but this dinner is going to run, us $250 as a couple.
Yeah.
And maybe someone's never paid $250 for dinner, or that sounds insane to them, and then they don't want to do this amazing thing. So I think that's the one big pro of the all-inclusives. There is two drawbacks. Do you have any idea of what I'm going to say next? What do you think that my two drawbacks of the all-inclusives are?
We took a few tequila shots and didn't feel anything because maybe the liquor's watered down.
Okay. So
Just kidding. I'm the real
shout
one.
out. Yeah. Well, that was actually one of mine, which now I feel bad for saying that this is one of mine, but the liquor is 100% watered down. Shout out to Maya from Offsite. She had me doing shots with her at the bar. I haven't drank in months. And I did 5 tequila shots, supposedly, in maybe like, I don't know, call it like 90 minutes. I am a lightweight of all lightweights. That should have sent me over the edge. And I walked home like I just had a single iced tea. I felt nothing. I do not buy for a second that the liquor is not extremely, extremely watered down. You can't convince me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was like, I'm going to have such a bad hangover tomorrow. I'm going to feel like a rock star. And I woke up completely fine. I was like, oh, this is a good thing, I guess. I would also say that a downside would be your choices. I think it's more limited than it typically would be. If you're looking for something specific, it could be a little tricky just because a lot of things were like buffets and things like that. But I would say that the pros outweigh the cons in this situation, just for convenience, value, like relaxation. It's a great way to like meet new people, I think. As far as just everybody's in all of the same locations, you don't really, if you're going to an all-inclusive resort, you don't really like leave the resort.
Yeah.
You kind of like, we never even considered going into town because everything's free and nice and beautiful in here. So I'd say overall, especially if you're on a company trip, it's a really cool move. I know it can be expensive, but I think you'd probably be saving a few bucks in the end.
I think I have one small gripe, just because my sample size is tiny, but I think that the food quality in all-inclusives kind of suffers. My brother just went to a property in Cancun, and he basically was like, the food was not great. And I thought our food was good, but I didn't think that it was great. I thought that some of the things were kind of like bland or mass produced or produced cheaply. And over the last few years, I've gotten kind of a fine taste for food. So I realized that makes me sound so bougie, and I was very grateful to even be there and be eating. But I think that the all-inclusives, the food quality does just slide a dial down. So if you are a foodie and one of your goals of vacation is to like go on a trip and have an amazing culinary experience, you will have all of the food and drinks that you can possibly have at an all-inclusive, because that's the design. But if you're someone who wants to like try fine food, I would actually stay away from all-inclusives. But I realize that's a very, very small sample size. The food was good, but good, not great.
Well, it wasn't authentic. It was good. It was just not Mexican food. They weren't really serving authentic Mexican food, which is kind of what we were fishing for. So yeah, I'd say if you're going for a work trip or an offsite or a retreat, great idea. If you're going just you and your partner, or just you, or you and your family, I would maybe stay somewhere a little bit less commercialized. And for that recommendation, I have one for that too. If you're in Cabo and you want to stay somewhere authentic, where the food is awesome and the hotel is dreamy, the Nobu Hotel Los Cabos is so amazing. We checked it out. That is probably worth every penny. We didn't stay there, so I can't say, but it was freaking gorgeous, and the staff was incredible. And I've never seen a lobby like that in my life.
Yeah, it was very minimal, very striking, but everything was beautiful. I was interested to see how Nobu was going to do as a hotel, right? Because I'm almost certain that it started as a restaurant and then it made the jump to started making hotel properties recently. But it looks like they found it. It was very, very elevated, very upscale, and the pool situation was beautiful. And I love a good hotel resort pool. Like, I love the pool in Maui at the Marriott Wailea, the infinity pool that just looks over the ocean. It's incredible. And this pool was very, very cool.
And the
I
landscaping
put it right up there.
Was gorgeous too. Like, every little tiny baby cactus had intention behind it. But anyways, we could gas this place up all day. That's the takeaway. I'd say inclusive resorts do have their pros and cons. It just depends on the intention of your vacation. So keep all of that in mind when choosing. But Cabo was beautiful. We had a great time. Highly recommend. Go see the arches that they talk about. That was freaking incredible. If you don't see Cabo from the water, you're doing it wrong.
I think that's the pot.
If you have anything else you want us to talk about, email us at hello@travelnerds.co. If you want to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, it's @TravelNerdsPod. On Twitter, it's travel_nerds. And you guys are the bomb. Later, nerds.